So I've launched tons of products over the past like 10 years now for myself, for clients. And so I've seen a bunch of failed launches and a bunch of successful launches. So what makes a successful launch? Amazon is always changing, more competitive than ever. So we got to update and adapt our strategy. What worked maybe a couple years ago might not work now. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what I would do if I'm launching a product today. In fact, this is my 5-step launch framework that my agency implements for our clients to launch them and rank them on page 1. That's the goal. For example, here's a supplements client. We launched to 45K a month in 3 months. Here's another client. We launched to 100K a month in just 2 months. Here's a client that we even launched to $1 million in total sales in just 4 months. Feel free to watch the full case study video on that one. And here's a pet product we launched to $35,000 a month in 3 months. All right, on to step 1 of the 5-step framework. This one is absolutely critical because without it, none of the other steps will matter. Step 1 is have amazing creative. You see, Amazon is just a game of traffic and conversion. And so you need the best possible conversion rate to have the best possible results. So when it comes to creative work, I like to say cheap is expensive and expensive is cheap. Okay, good. First question about the listing optimization. You said you hired a freelancer. Who did you hire? Exactly what are they doing and how much did you pay for it? Yeah, so we hired a freelancer gal. She did the copywriting and the infographics and the A+ content. I think we paid her about $500 or so for the copywriting and about $500 or so for the image gallery, infographics, and for the A+ content. So my point is, you invested $50,000 into developing your product and the inventory, and then you invest $1,000 or $2,000 for a pretty good listing. This is a big mistake. I see pretty good just doesn't cut it anymore. Maybe in years past, you could have gotten by with good amount of sales with just a very basic, mediocre listing. Not anymore in this ultra competitive Amazon space. So a big mistake I see is just hiring a cheap or just regular run-of-the-mill freelancer and just calling it good, like relying on them to make your listing the best it possibly can be. My mindset is you went through all of this work to get your product to this launch phase. Now you gotta sell it. Now it's game time. Just because your product is great does not mean it's gonna sell. You gotta sell it, sell it, sell it. So here's my recommendation instead. Make sure you hire a professional Amazon marketing expert who fully and deeply understands not just your product, but the market, the top competitors on Amazon, and the target customer's mindset. Your exact target customer and their mindset while they're shopping. They need to get inside the shopper's brain. Make sure this is whoever writes and designs your listing. You see, you actually need a few different people to make an amazing listing. You need the branding person, you need the marketer slash salesman, the person that's just gonna sell it, and then you need the graphic designer to take all of that information, messaging, and make it beautiful. Those are actually 3 different people. So just make sure you're putting in the TLC it deserves. And you're really putting time and thought into your, not just making it pretty, but the messaging. What do I mean by messaging? You see, Amazon is a comparison shopping platform. That's why you gotta focus on USP-based messaging, unique selling position. Think about this. A shopper needs to understand why your product is unique and better in just 10 seconds. One way to do this, for example, is have a comparison chart, or as I call it, an us versus them chart. But I digress. For all of my creative listing tips, see my listing optimization video. But real quick, I'll share some of my key points for making your listing amazing. Professional photography. Your photography is the bedrock of your whole listing. Make sure it's done great. Premium A+ content, activate it, use it, and put in video modules in there. Game changer. Make sure you have at least 3 videos. My framework is this: 1 main video, kind of like your commercial, at least 2 customer videos, and at least 1 long form video. So make sure you're doing all these things right. So that's step 1, have an amazing listing. Don't skimp over it. Don't gloss over it. Give your listing the TLC it deserves. Make sure it's done professionally. Make sure it's well thought through. Think about this. Keep this in mind. For every 1% boost in conversion rate, you're gonna make an extra $10,000 a year because your listing over time is gonna potentially get millions of eyeballs. millions. So if you can convert just one more person per day, the ROI is like insane. So your listing is like your virtual store. Invest as much as you can in making your listing as amazing as possible. That's step one of the 5-step framework. All right, on to step two. Step two, I also see a lot of companies doing this completely wrong. In fact, there are so many companies doing this completely wrong that it shocks me. Just like step one, this involves your conversion rate. Moreover, even if you do step one perfectly and have the most amazing listing, without doing step two right, your conversion rate is going to be shit. Because even with the most kick-ass amazing listing, you still need this, reviews. But I'm not just talking about having good reviews or a good star rating. Step two is get fast reviews. So you mentioned you're doing Amazon Vine. That's good. How many Vine reviews are you doing? I think we're going to do 5 or 10 Vine reviews. I don't know. How many would you recommend? So our framework is get 30 reviews in 30 days. When we hit that, it's usually a great launch. I like to say this. For every day that you don't have at least like 10 reviews, you're leaving money on the table, because most shoppers like to see at least like 10 reviews before ordering. It's a social proof thing. Think about this. Do you normally order a product with 0 reviews? Probably not. What about 1 review, 2, 3, especially if there's competitors with like 300, 3,000 reviews? Maybe not, depends. But overall, the big mistake I see is this. Companies are launching their product, letting it sit there with like 2, 3, 5, 6 reviews for like months. This causes launches to fail, because without at least like 10 reviews, ideally 30, conversion rate's just gonna be poor. And without a good conversion rate, you're not gonna get to page 1. You're not gonna get that traction you need for a good launch. Failure to launch. Okay, Riley, got it, understood. What would you say is the best way to get 30 fast reviews? So yeah, the easiest way is Vine. Typically we'll do 10, 20, or 30 Vine reviews. If there are variations like size or color variations, you can do this little tip. You can launch the variations as separate listings, enroll them separately into Vine, and let's say do 20 on each variation. Then once the reviews are active and live, then combine them into the parent, and now you're gonna have more reviews than the maximum 30. So that's a little tip to get more than 30. But if you don't have variations and you wanna hit that 30 reviews in 30 days, you wanna make sure to get reviews from other sources, because Vine reviews aren't guaranteed. So because we wanna make sure that we hit the 30 reviews in 30 days, this is what we do. One way to get more reviews than Vine is using product tester sites. Gotcha. What are product tester sites? Yeah, so it's kind of like Vine, just done through a third party. You're giving a free product to someone for feedback. The one we use a bunch is called FBAreviews.com. Basically, just go to their website, sign up for a campaign to have real product testers test your product in exchange for getting it for free, plus a product tester fee, which is about 25 bucks per. Now, the site is for providing direct feedback to you, not for Amazon reviews specifically. That's why it's within TOS. You can read their website about that. But I found about 80% of the product testers end up posting a review on Amazon. And those can take anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks-ish to go live on the listing. This is not sponsored, by the way. They don't pay me to say this. I'm just sharing it because I've used it a bunch, but I do have a 10% discount code if you want to try it out. So for example, I'll do this. I'll do 20 Amazon Vine reviews and 20 product tests via FBAreviews.com. So now you got 40 in the pipeline. Hopefully that's gonna be enough to hit that 30 reviews in 30 days. You always want to overcompensate. So anyways, that's my framework. Here are a few other strategies around reviews. Turn on request review automation. Get love letter reviews, a couple short form video reviews, and a couple long form video reviews. Get genuine customer testimonials / case study reviews whenever possible. Those are gold. Get competitor comparison reviews wherever possible. Those are also gold. And by the way, I recently met an influencer that specializes in these. If you're interested in being contacted, leave a comment below. And use a product insert strategy. For details on all those strategies, see my reviews video. All right, Riley, I appreciate this. So update, I got a bunch of reviews off the bat. And my listing, it's looking amazing. Put a bunch of work into it. It's fully selling the product in all its glory. So my conversion rate should be looking pretty good right now, right? Well, yeah. One more thing though. What's your pricing strategy? Yeah, so we did some research on our competitors' pricing on Amazon, and we're gonna price it at the average price point of our most similar competitors. Gotcha. Okay, so average price of the most comparable competitors on page 1. Are you gonna launch with coupons activated then? Coupons? Didn't think about that. How low of a discount? The discount amount depends on your situation, your budget, your inventory. In general, a strategy is try to go $1 lower than your lowest price competitor. That alone will get you a flood of orders from price shoppers. And Amazon is like 80% price shopper. Now, of course, not every product, not every brand is gonna be able to do this, but basically the lower your price is, the more sales you're gonna get. That's just how it works. And the more sales you get, the higher you're gonna rank. So it's a careful balance, your budget, your goals, and how much inventory you have. Maybe this means launching at around 20% off, maybe 30% off, maybe 40% off, maybe 50% off. It's really up to you and what you're trying to do, how aggressive you want to go. Okay, how long do we keep it at the discounted price? We're trying to keep the price low so our daily sales velocity is high for the first 30 days. And you want to have this high for the first 30 days because that's the honeymoon period where Amazon's algorithm, it's easier for you to rank. So the goal is to spike to page 1 fast from this high velocity. And once you get on page 1, you're going to get more views, more sales. It's an upward spiral effect. So over the first couple months in launch phase, just be monitoring your rank and your daily sales. Once you think that your rank is the max it can be, raise your price by $1 every week or so until you're back towards your target price or regular price, and then see how far down you are in the rankings. And the goal basically is to find that sweet spot price. Now, you raise it back to your regular price, you might be off page 1 completely. Then lower the price again and you should raise up in the ranks. So during launch phase, you want to maintain yourself ideally on page 1 if you can. But for the long term, the goal is to find that sweet spot. It's a balance between sales velocity, ranking, and profitability. And this can take a long time to figure it out. And you might have to adjust prices every year due to new competitors in the game, market factors, demand. So in general, with pricing, your job is to continually be split testing prices to find the sweet spot for your goals. And this is the big thing that we are doing constantly for our clients. But if our price is that low, we won't be profitable. So you want to optimize for profit later. If you focus on optimizing for profit out the gate, you're gonna have a failed launch. A common strategy for launch is to aim for a break-even situation for as long as possible. For example, the first year, to build up ranking and reviews as fast as possible. Then after you have a satisfactory rank and satisfactory number of reviews, then raise the price up slowly towards your target price, monitor it, and try to find that sweet spot of ranking, profitability, and sales velocity for your goals. So you want to think of launch as a promotional period. You're just trying to get your product out there into as many hands and households as possible, as fast as possible. This is how you catch up to your competitors in terms of number of reviews and that page 1 real estate. Think of it as you're building that real estate on page 1. So the ideal scenario that we're all hoping for here is after a while, you got a bunch of reviews, you start raising your price up back to your target price, and your ranking maintains that position right there on page 1. Hopefully even top 10 position on page 1 because your reviews are great, your listing looks amazing, so the conversion rate is higher than other choices all around you with page 1. If your conversion rate's not higher than them, then you're gonna rank below them. That's how the ranking algorithm works. In short, it's based on conversion rate. So you're testing all of these things, and hopefully for long term, you'll have what I call that solidified page 1 real estate. Then it's just kind of camping out there and you have a successful product. All right, gotcha, Riley. So test my prices and monitor weekly. What about coupons? So with coupons, just like price, you can factor in split testing different coupons like $1 off versus 10% off, like 5% off versus $5 off, etc. But just make sure you're only testing one variable at a time so you know exactly what's causing what. Okay, gotcha. What about PPC? That's probably part of your strategy too, right? So for PPC strategy, you'll have to check out my PPC videos on my channel because there's lots to it. I even have a PPC course if you want to see the full step-by-step walk through stuff, but I'll share one of the biggest mistakes that we see. That is basically not spending enough. How much should I spend? What you spend, again, depends on your budget, how much inventory you have, and your goals. There's no real way to predict what you need to spend. All you can do is test and adjust. So typically we'll start just by setting the daily budget at $100 a day. It's an easy number and it's not too much and it's not too little, just $100 a day. Now, if you're really not sure about the target keywords and you want to go slower, you can put in $50 a day. It's just going to be gathering data slower. It's really what you're up to. $100 a day is just kind of a standard benchmark that we start with. Of course, that budget may need to go way up. We're simply gathering data at first and adjusting based on what makes sense for our goals. But a mistake we see is many companies are just hesitant to put the pedal to the metal because they're not sure how much they should be spending. They kind of want to go slow and kind of see what happens, and they're just kind of scared to just put the gas to the fire. Remember, for launch, we want to focus on sales, not profit. That being said, of course, you don't want spending to be too crazy. So during launch phase, definitely check in and adjust it like every day, almost every day. So here's a tip I can share for PPC real quick, and that is focus on optimizing for top of search placement. Top of search means that top bar on the Amazon search page, those top line of products. That's where most of the impressions happen, obviously. So that's where you're gonna gather the most data the fastest. That's the big stage up there. So of course, you're gonna be spending more per click. That's actually the most expensive clicks right there, but you're gonna know what's working faster. And so you can make adjustments faster. Also, if you perform well on top of search, the algorithm is gonna show you to lots more shoppers organically. And that's the goal. So if you can do well on top of search, you can do well anywhere. All right, so in short for PPC, make sure you're spending enough to gather lots of data fast. That way you can make adjustments fast and cut out what's not working and double down on what is working. That said, don't expect your ACoS or total ACoS to be good/profitable. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be really high, and that's normal. That's actually what you want. But of course, you can still cut out keywords that are getting like no sales. All of this is a balance for your goals. So step 5 is a powerful strategy if you need more ranking power. You see, sometimes even if you do everything I'm talking about right, listings amazing, tons of reviews, spending lots on ads, conversion rates great, you're still in many keywords, many niches, many markets, you're still not gonna get on page 1 because Amazon's that competitive. So what do you do then? Okay, great. What would you say are the best ways to drive external traffic? So there's many ways you can drive external traffic to your Amazon listing. The easiest and most cost-effective ways, in my opinion, are deal sites, your social following and email list, if you have it, paying influencers, and paying for social media ads. Number 2, your social following and email list. I'll cover that one first because it's quite easy and straightforward. If you have people on your email list and social following, just let them know, hey guys, we just launched our new product. You can either offer them a discount code or just tell them, hey, it's on sale for launch for a limited time. If you have a large email list and or social following, you want to segment your promotions so you don't send all the traffic on one day. You want to drip the traffic over the first 30 days. For the full strategy on this, check out my external traffic video. And for number 3 and number 4, paying influencers and paying for social media ads, that's a whole other can of worms for another video. And in my opinion, they're usually more time consuming and require a higher budget, which is why number 1 is my favorite way, deal sites. There are many deal sites out there that have been around for a while, also known as coupon sites, rebate sites, or giveaway sites. One I've used a bunch is called rebate.com. This is where you simply sign up for an account to list your product on their site, and savvy shoppers will browse this site. They'll look around for deals and they'll find a product, click on your product. It will take them to Amazon where they order for full price. And then 30 days later, rebate.com sends them a rebate for that product. Normally it's like 80% or 90% or even 100% off rebate. So you'll pay a monthly platform fee to use the platform, and then you pay daily to cover the rebates based on how many people took the rebate every day. By the way, on rebate, You can also create an influencer campaign, get your product in the hands of some influencers. So that's something you can check out as well. How many units would I need to give away, do you think? So in order to see how many you're gonna wanna give away per day, go to Amazon.com, search your main keyword, and then basically look at the daily units sold for all of these players on page 1. So it looks like down to midway page 1, we're at 40, 70, 60, 25, 45, 90, 28. So in general, in order to rank on page 1, you're gonna need to meet the daily sales velocity of the other players on page 1. This is the Jungle Scout Chrome extension, by the way. I like using it. I also like how it has this badge right here next to each product. I can quickly check the stats. Also not sponsored, but I do have a 30% discount code. So that's the general strategy. But if you want to start slower, you can do that. For example, you can start at 5 a day or 10 a day and just monitor that and see what happens over 2 weeks, and then adjust based on your goals. So after 2 weeks, if you don't have enough ranking position, then increase it from 10 a day to 15 a day for a week, then adjust from there. If you do have satisfactory rank, don't just turn it off all of a sudden. Lower it down by a couple units per day for the next week. See what happens to your rank. You don't want to just turn off the faucet all of a sudden for the ranking. You want to taper it off. You want to let that ranking juice build up. So this strategy, it can be really powerful because in Amazon's algorithm, they're seeing a flood of eyes. Everyone's buying it full price, high conversion rate. So they're like, wow, this product must be hot. People are coming from outside Amazon, they're buying it. Let's show this to a lot more shoppers. So your organic ranking spikes, you're getting more sales, more impressions, it's gonna spike higher. It's an upward spiral effect. Warning though, before doing this, make sure you have enough inventory. What you don't wanna do is run out of stock. So be careful. And of course, there's a lot of nuance to this strategy. So for more, you can check out my external traffic video. Gotcha, that's really interesting, Riley. I'm gonna check that out. But is that within Amazon's TOS? Isn't that Black Hat? So yeah, there's a lot of Black Hat stuff out there. Chinese sellers do a lot of Black Hat stuff. This isn't. You could call it Gray Hat if you want. So while Amazon doesn't disallow rebates, what they don't like is rank manipulation techniques. And so that's up to one's interpretation, whether you want to call this rank manipulation specifically, or if you're just calling it a promotional campaign to get your product in the hands of a bunch of customers during launch phase. Does Amazon like rebate sites, giveaway sites? Probably not, but are your competitors doing it? Yes. Have I used it for a long time? Haven't really seen any issues. Again, not sponsored, but I do have a discount code for them. Just sharing because I've used it and it works. I wouldn't be sharing if I had issues. That said, Amazon's TOS does change. Always read it for yourself and do all of these things at your own risk. So in summary, for the 5th step of the framework, sometimes PPC and a great listing alone is still not enough to get to page 1. In that case, you've got to drive external traffic. And the easiest way to do that, in my opinion, is by listing on a deal site. Here's an infographic, by the way, with all the 5 steps and the tips underneath. And here's another infographic just showing that Amazon is a game of traffic and conversion. So we drive traffic or impressions via organic search / SEO, via Amazon PPC ads, and via external traffic. What about SEO though, Riley? Isn't that part of your framework? Yeah, but SEO I don't have as its own step in the 5-step framework. And in my opinion, it's pretty straightforward to just make sure that you have your main keywords in the title and in the backend section. That's the 80-20 of it. Then below that in the purple are all the levers we can optimize for conversion rate. So feel free to screenshot this. And then over on the right, I also added smart product development because of course, success starts at a great, unique product. As a bonus, I'm just gonna drop a few more common mistakes that we see for launch. Just hiring a PPC guy to handle your launch and calling it good. Launching with less than 10 reviews. Launching with no PPC at all. I've never seen that work personally. Just going too slow, not hitting it hard in the first 30 days. Thinking a PPC software is just gonna automate your launch and take care of it all. And then just winging it, hoping for the best. I'm just gonna launch my product on Amazon and it's the best product, so people are gonna find it and they're gonna order it. Just doesn't work like that. Hey, all this is great, Riley. We super appreciate this. I'm just wondering though, is it gonna work for our product? So if you follow this framework, this should work. Of course, make sure you have a good, unique product, a good budget, and plenty of inventory and patience. So of course, we've ranked many products to page 1 in 30 days, 60 days, but is that typical? No. But you still wanna make sure that you're hitting it hard in the honeymoon period, which is that first 30 to 60 days when it's easier to rank. But often it can take much longer than that. It can take 6 months, 12 months to get that solid page one real estate. You're not gonna have a home run product overnight. It's possible. It's possible during the honeymoon period. That's why you wanna hit it hard during there. But it doesn't happen all the time. Every product, every niche, every keyword is its own universe. But you might as well try. But remember, long term, at the end of the day, the best products win. All right, thanks for watching this video. If you got value from it, a like and a comment is appreciated. Peace.